Is there something you've started doing now that you never dared in your 30, 40s when it comes to traveling?
Actually, it's traveling.
I love
So
that.
so in my 30s and 40s, we would there were milestones. We would travel for milestones because we were working and we would work. Okay, so we're going to go somewhere for our 10th wedding anniversary and have a big trip, or for our 15th wedding anniversary, have a big trip. And now we're starting to look at it more of traveling as a way of life. And it's not a something that has to be, celebrated and something that's pushed out in the future and only for a milestone or only to celebrate something, but we can just go. And so,
Mhm.
so this year, I know I showed you guys pictures of we did a staycation. We drove 90 minutes away and we stayed a week, at a resort and overlooking the beach. Well, we would have never done that in our 30s and 40s.
Right.
And now we're trying to incorporate more of that type of travel. And travel doesn't have to be just a big, giant trip, it can be small, little things and ways to
Mhm.
recharge.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say so the same. I did not travel. I mean, depend on what I'm calling traveling though. I went from Gabon to France, but I didn't call it traveling because I
Mhm.
was going from one home to the other. Traveling for me is intentionally leaving my place to go somewhere.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's a staycation, a beach near my town, but it's not like, okay, I'm going home. You take the plane, but you're not traveling.
Right.
I don't know. When I say that to people, they're like, yeah, you're going to Paris. Yeah, but I'm going to Paris, but that's not how traveling. That's just going back home, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So, so
I want to live in countries like for 6 months at a time. I want to experience different cultures. That's my goal.
The big change about my attitude about travel has been that before it was a luxury, that I
mhm.
can't afford it, and so I don't do it. And it wasn't I, it was we. And that's why we couldn't afford it. We can't travel, we can't do this or that. But
Mhm.
now it's like I can't afford not to. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of women that are over 50, over 60, or like me, nearing 70. Oh, but it's like we can't afford not to do it because if I don't, I'll get stuck.
Let's move on to my favorite topic, aging on the road, not settling down. And the question is, how has turning 50 or 30, or close to 40 for Kim, changed the way you see travel and life itself? Because my channel being about traveling, Kim, you want to start?
Since I'm not 50 yet, I
30.
used to have a passion for traveling since I was younger. I mean, my mother got me and my sister our passports. We were in school, and the first time I traveled was, I went to St. Lucia. And it just the fact of, like, getting on that airplane and, just getting on that airplane. Did I say just getting on that airplane? That was the highlight for me. And then the next place, I think was always fascinated with traveling because I'm from a very, very small island. Barbados is very, very small, and I watch a lot. I'm a TV pimp. Let's put it there. I'm really a TV pimp. So like, I want that person. If I'm watching TV, don't talk to me because I have to pause it or I have to go back and rewind it because I missed what the person said. You know, and I used to just watching like on TV, and you see all these big buildings and you see all these different things that you can get to do, and I was always fascinated to travel. I wanted to be able to do it. And I was only able to do like two days here, a weekend here, until I met the amazing husband I have. That so the first time we went was I went to the UK. And that was my first 3 weeks overseas. Because of him, now um is the most time I've gotten to travel. So we went to Poland. In December. I've never been
Yeah.
to Poland. I never even thought of going to Poland. And then just having the experience of being, in the UK and experiencing the cold and, when the sun comes
The
out, I was
snow for
never
the
so
first
happy for the sun
time.
to come out, you
Yeah.
know. And obviously coming back here in this heat. It's a whole different set of heat in Barbados.
Mhm.
Um, but having this experience I'm having now, yes, I don't like the separation. I hate it 100%. Because I want to be under my husband's arms 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if I could only, and if he would only let me. But um, you know, having this time to be able to finally travel, finally have that, a little piece of, a bigger country, a different culture,
Hmm.
getting to meet people. I got to meet you, Jazz. You know,
Yeah.
um, and then tasting different foods and, experiencing different places, going into the park and walking in very lonely areas and, just having a full proper adventure is like a wow factor for me.
Mhm.
So I'm actually right now really enjoying this season of my life. It's not as happy. Yes, I have a lot of sad bits because right now I'm away from my husband, but I overall I must say that with the traveling bit, I'm very happy.
Excellent. So what I heard you saying is like you always had actually that love for traveling.
Hmm.
So it's not that your view on traveling change with age, but it's
No,
more so that you gotten you more opportunity to travel to
yeah,
places. That's great.
that's
Okay.
what I want. Yeah.
Good, good.
Well, you're
And
not that
what
far from Guatemala, you know.
oh yeah, so Barbados in the Caribbean, right? It's not that far.
Oh
It is
yeah,
true. I did not realize that.
me either.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So Bethy, while some are thinking of retirement, more women over 50 plus are choosing to pack up and explore the world instead. The reason why I wanted to put that to you is because you are living in Guatemala. And for me, it's something that I find amazing because you're American. And I think you've been living in Guatemala for a long time. Do you see living there as being a traveler, or do you see it as it's now your home? And but on the top of that, not only you living in a complete other country, but you also travel a lot. And do you see that a lot of more women decide to travel instead of retiring? I mean, they see traveling as a retirement.
Wow, what a question.
Yeah.
As far as living here in Guatemala, I don't feel like, bueno, well, I'm always seen as a foreigner. I can't hide that.
Okay.
And so I can't forget that I'm a foreigner in that way, but I mean it's almost been 30 years now. And so if
Wow.
I want to be a foreigner, all I have to do is go to United States. My pass,
Yeah.
in fact, we have a tendency, long timers here, we tend to call it your passport country, not your home, because the US is not my home and I haven't been there for many years. I don't, everybody says, oh, you go every year, right? No, I don't go. I feel like a foreigner. I feel very out of place. And so it did kind of break me out of the rut of being just in your, in your birth country, your passport country when I first got here. But it's been so long now that I've grown accustomed. But the whole idea of traveling as far as retirement, or maybe not even calling it retirement, just calling it that last phase of my life when I actually have the option to make choices for myself in that. And if you've seen my video I did a little while back about my bucket list, a lot of it is traveling because
Abs-
it's a choice, but it's a choice for me. And not only that, my traveling is not going to be tourism. And I think about what happened to me. It's been, almost 4 years ago now that I took my big trip when there was a retreat for our missions group in Switzerland. And sure, that was a week and that was great, wonderful luxury and fun. But I went straight from Switzerland to Chad, Africa. And my deal was I was going to spend 3 weeks there, practice my French, which was challenging, and soak in the culture and get to know the people that I know there and the work that they're doing. And to me, that like broke open what would be happening for the rest of my, last decades, that this has to be it. And so I think that's why a lot of women are finding that they try it out, they travel, and it's like, oh, I think of you, Vicky, and your cruise and stuff, and that I can tell that it came out to be much more for you, much more significant than you even thought it would be. And that's what women are finding out. And so if we can give them a little push and give our fellow older women a little bit of a push to where you got to do this, you got to try this and break out. And maybe you think you can't afford it, but you can't afford not to do it. That's my opinion.
I love that. You can afford not to do it. For me, if I could, I'd be on the road all the time. And I had that as long as I remember. I think it's because even living in Gabon, I was born there, I was never in one place. I was in a boarding school. I lived in a different town. I lived in so many different places. Okay, my husband is gonna come. It's okay, you can show your face. You close. Okay, he doesn't want to. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna. It's camera shy. He's not. He was bringing me bubble. It's like, do you want a glass? I'm like, yes, yes. Sorry, guys. I'll drink for all of us. So,
Yes. It's only 8:30 here, so I'll have some later.
yeah, but it's midnight
I
on
know.
your time somewhere in the world.
It's true.
After 5 somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, after 5 somewhere, exactly. So for the bubble, I'm always like, yes. Yeah, so for me, it's like I've always moved someplace. As a kid, I've been moved a lot. And so I think it stayed in me, in my DNA. I always wanted to go somewhere. I feel stuck if I'm not moving. And I just love going in this adventure, meeting people, getting lost in countries, eating food that I have no idea about. And I don't know, yeah. And for me, it's like, first it was like, oh, I can't do it, family, etc. For now, honestly, whether I have money or not, I will go because I will make the money to go. I will do everything, whether it's like, going on in hostels, um, eating just in stores, like buying some food in stores instead of going to restaurant. But I still live the experience being in a different country. And yes, for me, I make it happen, regardless of if I've saved a lot of money or not. So,
I
all right.
actually like those videos that you did, Jazz, where you when you travel, you showed how much money it costs.
Yeah.
And maybe next time you show us from the cost of the ticket to every single thing that you buy. Because I think you had shown like the amount of money you spent like being there and how much the hostel was. But
Yeah.
kind of like if you and next time you can show us like from buying the ticket and like how you got to plan
Yeah. The
your trip
budget,
to
the
make it
complete
that.
budget.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I will do. I will do.
Yes.